James and Luka Doncic welcomed the Rockets into Crypto.com Arena, a pivotal game last night. Luka, though, he was getting in the flow during the pregame, hitting not one, but two of these rainbow threes. So you know he was ready.
Feeling good
for this showdown. Second quarter here, with the shot clock winding down, LeBron James one-legged three.
Just, he's having fun with the game, and it looked good. It looked fluid.
It's April Fool's. He's the king, but that was a gesture. A little circus shot there, and then a behind-the-back pass.
It was showtime. It was showtime in Crypto.com Arena yesterday.
Gabe Vincent, though, 6 threes in this game, huge for them. And then Doncic going to work.
Nasty.
An absolutely nasty crossover. Finds Dorian Finney-Smith in the corner. He hit 6 threes. Doncic putting Şengün on skates there. Finding Finney-Smith in the corner. Let's talk about Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent a little bit. I don't know how sustainable this is. 6 threes made for each of them, Danny Green. Huge boost for LA.
No, their bench was amazing last night. And I don't know if they'll do that for a whole series, but they can give you 1 or 2 games.
Here's Doncic on his conversation with Finney-Smith about taking a couple more shots.
I just told him today, if you don't want to shoot it, I'll shoot it. Honestly, you can ask him.
And he said, okay, Luka, fine, I'll shoot it. Third quarter, LeBron James put him in a spin cycle.
Bully ball.
Lakers up 5 headed into the fourth quarter here, Perk. Now the Lakers up 4 is where we're going to pick it up. When you need a bucket, call LeBron James. No,
Dungeon work. He too small. That's daddy ball. That's what I do to my sons in the driveway.
Looks the exact same.
Right there. It looked just like that too, Malik.
Kingston, make sure you hear that. Get that back. Right here, Jabari Smith Jr. sneaks in the lane for the mid-range. Cut the lead to 3 here. The Rockets not going away easily. Next Lakers possession, Doncic drives all the way to the cup for the layup. The Lakers lead up to 5 once
again. Turned the corner on that pick and roll with some speed.
And then just over a minute left, the Lakers up 5 here.
Amen Thompson, he's so damn special.
I'm serious. When you do a Eurostep, do you have to make that noise on the floor? I feel like that everyone...
Just natural.
Yeah, right. Everyone does that a little bit. And then when the broadcast says blocked by James, you can't help but go back to 2016.
At the center position.
LA escapes with a crucial victory here. Here's LeBron James after the game on the Lakers' commitment to defense.
Defensively, we was very locked in with our game plan and our what we wanted to do. Like I said, team that won, I think 13 out of 14. They've been red hot, probably the hottest team in the NBA, and we understood that we had to key in on our keys defensively in order to win the game.
Limited them to 13 fast break points and 10 second chance points. Made them play in the half court. Our guys really competed on that. They left everything on. They emptied the tank. They emptied the tank on the defensive end. It was fantastic.
This was the Lakers defense that we had grown accustomed to seeing over the last couple of months. It had slipped away a little bit, but LeBron, let's talk about him. He's now gone 8 straight games without leading his team in scoring. That's the second longest streak of his career, his only longer streak. It happened earlier this season, and yet the Lakers are winning here. That's what happens when you have a Luka Doncic. You heard their voices, now you see their faces. Purple Rain, Danny Green, Kendrick Perkins, and my Nana's curtains.
It's called skin tone.
It's a nice jacket, though. The little gold leaf there, Perk. A little switch up, looking fly, looking good. Let's talk about the balance that the Lakers have to try to achieve here, Perk, because we talked about how good their defense has been. Do you have to sacrifice a little bit offensively in order to get that defensive effort? What is the sort of thing that they're weighing?
Well, I think it's more so LeBron James sacrificing, right? We saw last night it wasn't one of his biggest scoring nights, but at the end of the day, he played the center position. Anytime you have a guy with that IQ, that can anchor your back line defensively, you got a chance, right? And we saw him last night on both ends of the floor. I saw him give up his body, and this is what makes LeBron James so special. When you look at this film right here, Malika, Danny, he sacrifices. Now you have LeBron James setting the screen for Austin Reeves. That short roll. Look at the attention that he draws. Look at the eyeballs. Look at his options. Now look at this pass to the corner to Rui Hachimura for a wide open 3. Nobody could get there. And when you have LeBron, who, by the way, in that play, he could have called for the ball, hit the nail, and went straight isolation. But he said, you know what, I'm going to go set this screen short roll, and I know because of my ability of getting downhill, even at the age of 40, you still got to put these eyes on me, and now I got options and one of the best facilitators in the game.
And I want to point out the fact that you said the age of 40. I don't know if he can play the 5 position at the age of 40 for a 7-game series. I do like what he did last night, but they need to rely on their offense.
Right.
They need it. They need the big 3 to play well. They need to score. They need their bench. They need all hands on deck for them to have a chance against teams like OKC, against Houston. Houston shot poorly in that first quarter, and for most of the game, I don't think they'll do that for a 7-game series. So they're going to need their offense just as much as their defense.
Well, we talked about this. So keeping Houston off of the glass, that's where they thrive. And they were able to do that. The Lakers have been deploying lineups that don't necessarily have a traditional center because they've only really been playing Christian Wood as sort of their one center here. Excuse me, I meant Jackson Hayes. But Christian Wood.
But here's the thing, right? The reason that it worked for the Lakers is because the reason that the Rockets are one of the better offensive rebounding teams is because they're one of the worst shooting teams. They ranked 25th in the league, so the Lakers knew that. If we take care of the glass, if we take care of the boards, then our chances of winning are very, very high.
Jackson Hayes, my apologies.
There.
Thanks.
Jackson Hayes has.
Really appreciate that. Don't leave me hanging. All right, Perk, you ready to channel a little bit of Richard here? Maybe drop a button. Jason Tatum and Celtics. They're going streaking. So let's join them in Memphis. They were looking for 9 straight last night. Of course, went into the evening, riding that 8-game winning streak here. So we're going to pick this one up with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. The Celtics up 19-17. Peyton Pritchard steals the ball. And then here, back to Drew Holiday.
Look like work.
It's the glue guy, Drew Holiday, man. Does everything.
8 seconds left here in the first quarter. The Grizzlies up. Morant spins. Lays it up and in.
You can still do that.
Grizzlies cut the lead to 32-25 after the first. Watch Santi Aldama here. Finds Ja Morant in the corner for 3 off glass.
I don't know if he called that one.
He didn't. Look, he was ready to follow his shot. He didn't
But he's not. He liked it, though. 26 points in the game from Morant. The Grizzlies up 11 here.
Light-skinned brother with the good fade.
Oh, we're adding to the green eyes vernacular here. 3 minutes left here in the third. Tatum.
He's so damn good at that mid-post area.
Spins baseline as the shot clock expires.
Footwork. Oh, come here.
He had 25 points, 14 rebounds in this. The Celtics, this is what they do. They're a winning machine. Less than 10 minutes left in the fourth. Derek White hits the 3.
They have so many weapons.
Big record here.
Stop.
He passes Isaiah Thomas for the most 3s in a season in Celtics history here. And then old man Al Horford, he makes the 3 there. 26 points for him. Celtics rolling.
6 for Al Horford?
Rolling the Celtics.
People trying to convince me that they're not going to win the title.
The Celtics win this one, 117-103. Let's talk a little bit about the Grizzlies, shall we? They've now lost 2 games since firing Taylor Jenkins. 6 of the last 7 overall. The last 2 were against tough opponents. Let's be fair here, the Lakers, the Celtics. After the game, though, Jaren Jackson Jr., he attempted to put the Grizzlies losing into perspective.
I mean, we've had wins, we've had losses. Ain't no reason to feel crazy. It always could be worse. You could be homeless.
We always appreciate perspective.
What?
That is an unbelievable. That's an interesting perspective.
I think that
that's a crazy.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Why is that? Why is that crazy? Not the quote, but more the concerns that you're seeing here for Memphis.
Well, first of all, the whole organization needs to be reevaluated, right? They built something from ground up, had a contractor in place that was doing a hell of a job, laid the foundation, had the plumbing underneath, you know what I mean? And all they was doing was steady getting up the framework and doing everything else. And then all of a sudden, step by step, they started messing up this culture that they were building. It started off, you let go of Tyus Jones, you lose Dylan Brooks. And then all of a sudden, you fired Taylor Jenkins, who, by the way, probably didn't have a chance, right? People say, oh, it was maybe Ja Morant or, the offense or whatever. Think about this for a second. Malika, you host this show and you do a great job at it.
Until I start swapping player names.
One of the best in the game.
Thank you.
Imagine coming in here and you have no say on who your producers are. Who have your back, right? This is what Coach Taylor did.
Yeah, when they
the front office. The front office, we gonna hire your assistants. Every day he walk in the coaches meeting, they had a wire on. Yeah. He had no chance. So now you have to restart. And when you hear comments like, Desmond Baines and Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant, you know, they look confused. They sound confused when it comes down to the firing of Taylor Jenkins. So I'm going to say right now for Memphis, this season needs to be a wash. They need to get back to the drawing board because it's time to do a rebuild.
It is. And first, Trip, please use a better analogy when you're talking or giving worst case scenarios. Good intention, but that you need some better, circumstances. But yes, to piggyback on Perk, they don't have an identity. They lost a lot of pieces along the way. Taylor Jenkins was the final straw, and to go from a 2 seed to now probably in the play-in is going to be a big failure of a season.
But that begs the question, okay, so if the Houston Rockets are the 2 seed, they just lost to the Los Angeles Lakers. At one point, the Memphis Grizzlies were the 2 seed. OKC can't play themselves in the Western Conference Finals, so who is the second best team in the West?
For me, I like Memphis a lot until these things happen. But now it's to Houston, and me and Perk talked earlier, we really don't have a second team that stands out because the vet in me wants to pick Denver. They have a good veteranship group. Lakers have some veteranship. Golden State. But right now it's Houston. Houston has the pieces. They have a little bit of experience with Ime and Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet, those guys. But they're still not going to be trusted because they haven't shown that they can do it. They haven't been in the playoffs. So their biggest issue is the experience. But this is the group that I look at as being one of those teams that can ultimately give OKC a test.
And real quick, the shooting and down the stretch, who's going to be your go-to guy?
Yeah.
Right, Şengün, yes, he's baby Jokic, but then I'm looking at Jalen Green. That scouting report in the playoffs again get this much thicker. So it's interesting right now. I think it's just OKC and it's everybody.
They can't play themselves.
They can't. They can
play Boston.
They can play Boston.
It's OKC versus OKC. Where are we going to be in 3 weeks? Oh, we're going to be in OKC after the season. It marks the 4th time in his 6-year career that Zion will finish a season playing 30 games or fewer. Perk, are you feeling glass half full, half empty on Zion?
I'm feeling great about Zion.
Half full.
He looked good towards the end of the season, and now from what I'm hearing from my sources, he has a reset in this camp. You know, he hired the nutritionist. He got some people in his corner, new people in his corner, and he's looking forward to training and getting in shape, well, in better shape, coming back stronger next year. I feel good about Zion.
I know he was in and out of the lineup, but in the times that we got to see him, he finished the year strong.
Good.
All right, let's get to today's electric moment brought to you by Hyundai. Tyrese Halliburton here, isolates Sabonis, drains the 3.
Guy he was traded for, right?
Nasty step back there.
Oh, they traded Tyrese Halliburton.
And then look, he's hyping up the Pacers crowd after that. And then here, 40 seconds left to play. Pacers still up 2. Halliburton, Siakam, little pick and pop. Siakam. Halliburton doing a little dance, all smiles, dance moves for the Pacers. They go on to win 111-109. You know we had to ask about the dance after the game, right?
Got to.
James told him in D.C. that he liked that for his celly because Pascal must have been doing it to some song. I saw the dance and I was like, I want to get in on that. So that's all it is. You have to ask P and James because that's their thing. But P sent me the song just a minute ago, whatever goes with the dance. So I'm gonna learn it. And I expect it to be a reoccurring theme throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, I am all for this. It's like the Minnesota Vikings doing coordinated dances after the games, but Danny Green, you have some experience. Breaking it down. You gonna go teach him some moves?
They got a better one. These are way back when the old school moves were in fashion.
That's how we're going to end the show today. Let's get to some news now. The NBA handed 5 suspensions following the altercation between the Pistons and Timberwolves. 2 games for Isaiah Stewart, 1 game each for Ron Holland, Marcus Sasser, Naz Reid, and Dante DiVincenzo, all of whom were ejected for this brawl on Sunday. Minnesota plays tonight. The Nuggets. Detroit's next game is against the Thunder on Wednesday. So the Pistons, they currently hold the 5 seed in the East, just behind the Pacers, who are just 1 win or a Hawks loss away from clinching a playoff spot here. The Pacers, they also moved into 3.5 games back of the Knicks here for the 3 seed. The Knicks should be able to hang on to that number 3 seed here. But let's talk a little bit more about the Knicks. We're joined now by our ESPN senior writer, Chris Herring, who spent time recently on a deep dive into the tale as old as time. It's not Beauty and the Beast, but it's Tibbs and starters minutes here. So let's talk about it again here, Chris. What kind of toll is that workload taking on this Knicks team without Jalen Brunson?
I do think it is taking one for sure. This is a team that, if you remember Game 7 last year against Indiana, it was kind of a casualty ward, an injury ward of guys where they'd already had 3 guys that were out for the whole season at that point, and also Jalen Brunson fracturing his hand, OG Anunoby not being able to finish the game after trying to kind of make the Willis Reed moment 5 minutes in. And when you look at it, it's a team that Mikal Bridges leads the league in minutes. He's obviously an Iron Man, but several weeks ago he kind of opened the door to more concerns about this when he talked about the toll that the minutes can take on the starters and wearing them down. Josh Hart has been second in the league in minutes. There have only been 4 times in NBA history where you've had 2 guys from the same team lead the league in minutes. And of those 4 times, 2 of them were Tom Thibodeau. You might have a third of that this season where there are 3 times that it's been with Thibodeau and 2 for the rest of league history. So there's that part of it. There's the idea that Mikal Bridges has run about 60 more miles than the next closest guy from the Bucks, the next closest wing for the Bucks to do. If you talk about that playoff matchup happening, there's also the fact that there's not been a team since 1987 to lead the league in starters minutes to make the NBA Finals. Tom Thibodeau is the coach in NBA history with the highest win percentage who's yet to be to the NBA Finals. So there's correlations there, whether it is a huge issue or not. Time will tell, but it doesn't necessarily seem like it's stuff that's going to really propel them to find a new level in the next stage.
This seems like something that has become a little bit of a staple of Tom Thibodeau teams, rather. It's going to be interesting to see if that fatigue starts to catch up with them at all here in the postseason. It's a good thing that Jalen Brunson, in some ways, has had this rest, even though we know he wants to be out there on the floor. If you want to read more on Thibodeau's player philosophy, Chris's full article will be on ESPN.com on Thursday. Chris, thank you so very much for the insight here. Perk, 60 miles? But do you know how long that would take me to run 60 miles?
Whatever.
Longer or shorter than you. Let's talk about the Tibbs player approach here. What do you make of this? It feels like we have this conversation sort of every week with the Knicks. They keep on figuring out a way to win.
They are winning, but let me say this. Tom Thibodeau, like they say in the country, he's old and he's stuck in his ways. You're not going to change it. DG is not going to change it. I'm not going to change it. Mikal Bridges is not going to change it. Damn it, you're going to play minutes. That's just Tom Thibodeau. Until he started to gain trust in the others, which has been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Right? Because now Jalen Brunson being out, now everybody is like, hey, Tibbs, I can actually do some things offensively. Now, all of a sudden, it takes the pressure off of Jalen Brunson when he return, especially that damn OG Anunoby. I call him right now, he's looking like the 2025 version of Scottie Pippen, what he's doing on both ends of the floor. He just dropped 31 last night. And look, his defensive problems, we know what he does. 6'9", strong as an ox, sliding those damn puppies. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Nah, they're balling, man. But I do have concerns with their bench and depth. But with Jalen being out, it has given them opportunity. Campaign, Deuce McBride, those guys get an opportunity to show what they can do. But there are some other glaring issues, and you won't see. It's hard to pinpoint it until Jalen Brunson comes back. But there's some other things lingering there that I'm not too confident in.
I wonder if PJ Tucker have something left in the tank. Like
that signing?
No, they did, right?
Yeah, they brought him back.
Yeah, they
PJ Tucker brought him. Yeah, they brought sidelines with Nick Gallo.
Honestly, just the hours. That goes with all these guys. Nobody really sees the behind the scenes, the extra hours you go into the gym, the night workouts, the morning workouts. All that stuff pays off over the course of time, and it's a test for everybody on this team.
Yeah, you're not the only one, and you also do it as a group. What is this machine-like focus that you guys have? Because it just seems like every night you bring your A game.
I mean, we all have the same goal in mind. We know what we want to do at the end of the day, and we know how to get there, so we just got to keep stacking days, stacking games.
Nick Gallo also has machine-like focus as they're draping him with the towels throughout the
Nick getting old. He was there when I was there.
Getting old,
that's my guy.
The Thunder, though, they improved to 28-1 against the East, clinching the best interconference record in a single season since the league went to conferences in 70-71. That one loss, however, it did come against the East-leading Cavaliers. But there's something to look into here, Perk. What does it say about the Thunder that they keep beating these Eastern Conference teams?
That they'll like that they bought that action. Here's the thing. The Bulls been playing some great basketball, DG. You just said it. Malika, you said it. The score at halftime was 74-40.
And you were speechless.
74-40. And look, this is the thing. Isaiah Joe, he went for a career high. I'm watching the big-to-big passing and Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Luke Dort, he's out there playing like a linebacker, doing everything on both ends of the floor, knocking down three-point shots. At some point in the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about Aaron Wiggins, right? And J-Dub is not even there. We need to take a tour. Well, we're going to be there in the finals.
We're going to take a tour.
We're going to be there in the
stomping grounds.
We need to go to Oklahoma City Thunder, to their training facility, and go look. They have one of the best facilities, which means to me it's showing on the floor because they have their culture. All of their guys are in shape. All of their guys have routine.
Okay.
All of those guys eat proper.
Yes.
Right? And when we talk about guys as superstars who take care of their body, Giannis, Bron, Steph, Tatum, SGA is in that conversation.
But then the question becomes, Perk, you weren't, nod to the champs, you weren't quite ready to say, okay, we're standing on OKC. Are you?
I'm still giving a slight edge to the Boston Celtics.
Because what holes do you see with OKC?
I don't. It's just.
It's the experience.
Okay.
It's the experience. And Danny, know this. Your first time in the NBA Finals could be overwhelming. I'm telling you. It's just the attention and everything. And you forget to play basketball.
Or even the Western Conference Finals. OKC hasn't been there yet. So until they do it, we're going to doubt them. They're going to have to prove us wrong first. But, yes, it takes a year of getting whooped on in the Western Conference Finals or the Finals for you to have that experience. I still give them an edge. I mean, over all the Western Conference teams, it's pretty much.
Well, Perk says it's going to be OKC
Boston,
versus OKC.
I think they have a chance to get, because Boston's never healthy. They have the depth, they have the pieces, they have everything. All the thing they're missing is experience. But when they're healthy, I think that trumps everything else.
So what I'm hearing is you guys are looking down the camera and saying, okay, OKC, we believe in you. Now go out there and prove it. We still have a couple of weeks to see how this is going to play out, but I'm sure you all are aware. Today is April Fool's Day. That's why Richard's not here. We were worried about what happened. So we're going to go to the top 5 NBA fakeouts of all time. Number 5, Perk, this is Chris Webber in 2002, the playoffs in Sacramento. Behind the defender's back.
You know, when it comes down to skilled power forwards that to ever play this game, we don't mention C. Webb's name enough.
Number 4, it's LeBron James against the Lakers, Danny, in 2018. I love the sound effects.
I get the message.
That was sick. That was sick.
No look for a two-handed slam. And he held the follow-through.
But why the other two were actually going that way? The defense.
Slide to the left. Steph in the corner in 2017.
Oh man, Gortat.
And see, that's the thing. As a center, we used to be pissed off when they said, switch on Steph.
And that's why. Number 2, we got Hakeem the Dream.
Oh.
This is on the day David Robinson won the MVP over him.
What was you practice in the backyard? It never worked like that.
I'm telling you, I had a pair of Elijah ones with the big 34 on the side. That's a slippery eel.
And that's
a slippery eel right there.
That's where it originated right there.
Yeah, on the Admiral.
Number 1, Stevie Franchise of the Rockets on Troy Hudson. This is in 2000. Look at this.
So many.
That was
As a
nasty.
defense, you got to be yelling at your team. Like, where's the help? You got me on an island with this guy, 7 different moves.
That's when the franchise was the franchise.
Hey, in case you missed it, coming back to modern day here, no foul if you did. Isaiah Collier had 7 assists in a loss to the Hornets last night, but he now has 419 in his first NBA season, so this breaks the Jazz franchise record. It was previously held by Jock. Continued with an Elite 8 matchup here against USC. This was the game that everybody was waiting for. And if you're wondering, how do you follow up a 40-burger? Well, Paige Beckers was able to do exactly that with a little help here from the freshman Sarah Strong. She joined Maya Moore as the only 2 freshmen in UConn history with 600 points. You wouldn't have been able to guess which was the freshman on the floor. A couple minutes later, UConn up 4. Paige Beckers makes a move inside. Beckers gets the bucket and the foul. UConn starting to roll a little bit here. 10 seconds left here in the half. Beckers again splashes in a 3-pointer. Beckers and Strong combined for 28 points in the first half, while all of USC put up only 25. So now we're in the 4th quarter here. Beckers gets free, hits the 3-pointer from the wing. UConn pushing their lead here. Once again, Beckers, when it's winning time, she knows exactly what to do, gets the mid-range jumper to fall. And with that bucket, Beckers moves to 3rd all-time in UConn scoring history, passing Nafisa Collier. UConn goes on to get the win. The Huskies advance to their 2nd straight Final Four, where they will take on UCLA. So Beckers now has 444 career points in the NCAA tournament. That is tied with Nneka Ogwumike. Hey, Nneka, for the 5th most all-time. And if she keeps up the pace she is on and UConn makes the national championship game, Beckers could reach the record set by Caitlin Clark. After the game, Gino Auriemma spoke highly of Paige.
For her to get all the attention she gets, have all the demands on her life, all the expectations in her life, and still be able to deliver, I think she's closer to 1 or 2 or 3 most unique players I've ever coached. And I'm really going to miss her. I can't say that out loud.
It's all right. We can keep a secret. We won't tell Paige that you said anything, Gino. Now welcoming in Coach Carolyn Peck to NBA Today. Thank you so much, Coach, for stopping by to preview these exciting matchups we got. Let's start with UConn, though. Facing off against UCLA in the Final Four. What's going to be the key to this matchup? Let's start on the UConn side here.
Well, I think that UConn has Paige Beckers playing at the top of her game. Yeah. She has put 3 30-point games in a row together. Gino has told her, you're not out there on the floor to pass, but to score. And since then, she has been able to turn things up. She has so many tricks in her bag. She's got the 3. She can go off the bounce. She's got the reverse jumper. I mean, Paige Beckers right now might be the hardest player to guard in the Final Four.
It's saying something that it feels like she's playing the best basketball in her career at this point when she has won so many awards up until now. But on the UCLA side of all this, we got Lauren Betts. How do you slow her down?
Well, Lauren Betts, to me, is like the Camila Cardoso that South Carolina had last year. And she is 6'7". And not only is she a force to be able to score in the paint, but when she attracts double and triple teams, she passes out. For UCLA, Lauren Betts is the 2nd player in assists on the team. She has 91, and she's got plenty of shooters around her. So that will really spread the floor for UCLA. That could be a tough matchup for UConn.
It feels like the best path is slowing her down, getting her in good position early, making sure she doesn't get comfortable posting up close here. So that left one game, Coach, to be determined. TCU versus Texas here. The SEC Player of the Year, Madison, Texas, taking on number 2, TCU, fighting for a trip to the Final Four here. Swinging it over to Jordan Lee on the wing. She hits the 3. The bench is loving it. And then Booker hands it to Lee. Cuts to the baseline. Booker gets it back, drains the jumper and the foul. Booker, 18 points, 6 rebounds. Texas up by 8. Haley Van Lith, who really has just been such an awesome redemption story, but a costly turnover there. And a big and one layup here for Texas. The bench explodes. The celebrations would continue, so book it. Texas wins this one, and that means that Texas will face South Carolina, a rematch between the SEC title game here. So, Coach, what is the key to this matchup?
Well, I think the key thing for South Carolina is to defend Madison Booker like they did in the second game. In the first game, Booker only had 7 points. There was a lot of pressure there. But in the second game, she had 20 points. Why? Because Madison Booker is so strong going to her right. When she goes to the right, she is able to get really to her strength. You watch her get past the first defender, and even when the second defender may be there, she can elevate, and that is where she makes her money. If you can, defensively, force her back to the left. That's where you're going to have some help as she is going to her weak hand. Her percentages drop when she goes to the left. That's what South Carolina did in that SEC championship game in the tournament, and they'll have to do that in the semifinals if they want to advance to play on Sunday.
Absolutely. Get your popcorn, put your Do Not Disturb on your phone on. I know what I'm doing on Friday night. These are going to be 2 awesome games. Hey, Coach, before we let you go here, some massive news. Olivia Miles, she was the presumptive number 2 overall pick in the W draft this year. Not anymore, though. Decided to forego entering the draft for entering the NCAA portal, becoming a free agent of the college ranks here. She averaged 15 points, almost 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Notre Dame. Dame last season. Coach, what do you make of her decision to stay in college here?
Look, when you look at the landscape of athletics right now, Olivia Miles at Notre Dame has already got a degree. She got a political science degree and a minor in business economics. Can we talk about economics when you're talking about college sports right now? So she has an opportunity. She's had the experience at Notre Dame. She can go somewhere else, maybe where she is the lead dog, the lead point guard, and you're getting paid in college right now. So what is the rush to go to the pros?
And after maybe a season that didn't end the way that she wanted to, getting another opportunity.